Hello, my name is Anthony Singleton, and this is a presentation of a lesson plan I developed as part of a capstone project in the TESOL Master's Program at Arizona State University. The project is called Phones Out, a mobile-assisted task-based EFL lesson. I will briefly describe the language teaching problem I attempted to address, followed by a review of the research findings I gathered that informed this lesson plan. I will then present the lesson plan itself. It is a 60 to 90 minute oral English lesson designed for intermediate level EFL students. If you are interested in using this lesson, there is a link in the description where the lesson plan and all necessary materials to deliver the lesson are available. Please feel free to try it. Teachers, does this scene look familiar? You begin a lesson only to realize that your students are immersed in their smartphones. The phenomenon has been referred to by some as phone addiction. Even students who aren't completely tuned out are still distracted, periodically looking down to check their phones. It can be almost impossible to deliver an interactive, communicative language lesson in this environment. This has become a typical problem reported by language teachers in various settings and contexts around the world. I currently teach in a Chinese university, and the situation is no different. In addition to excessive phone use, classes can be typically quite large as well, making it even harder to teach a well-designed EFL lesson. Teaching oral English can be especially challenging. So, as teachers, what are we to do? The first solution that comes to mind is to forbid phone use in the classroom altogether. Many teachers and institutions have gone this route. The problem, however, is that students often find ways around phone bans. Some teachers even devise elaborate systems to collect and distribute phones before and after class. However, I have heard anecdotes from teachers about students carrying multiple phones to get around this. No matter what the teacher tries, the phones magically seem to appear. There is, however, a second option. Why not incorporate the phone into the language lesson itself? Why not use the phone as a language teaching tool? I set out to explore this option and see what research has been done in recent years on the topic. I found a great deal of research actually, and the results were encouraging. A quickly growing body of scholarly research has appeared in the last several years on the use of mobile technology as a language teaching tool. Much of it falls under the broad category of computer-assisted language learning, or CALL, or a subset of this field that applies specifically to mobile technology called mobile-assisted language learning, or MAL. Narrower, more recent subsets of this field include mobile-assisted second language learning and smartphone-assisted language learning. Another related category of research I have found helpful is mobile learning, or M-learning. If you are interested in a good overview of the research in this area, I recommend an article by Person and Nouri from 2018, published in the International Journal of Emerging Technologies, entitled A Systematic Review of Second Language Learning with Mobile Technologies, a review of 52 published articles on this topic. The majority of the research that has examined the effects of applying mobile technology in the language classroom has shown that the benefits are numerous. In fact, it is difficult to find almost any research that shows negative effects of mobile learning in language education contexts. Affective positive effects such as anxiety reduction, increased willingness to communicate, increased engagement in the classroom, have all been shown to lead to the outcomes we seek for our students as communicative language teachers. In addition to affective benefits, studies have shown that mobile-assisted language learning can also lead to improved language skills, including oral proficiency, critical thinking, increased language performance, and language autonomy. Why not leverage these benefits? That was the goal I had in mind when I developed this lesson plan. Specifically, I asked, how can smartphones be used to promote interaction and oral production in an EFL classroom? Although my conclusions might apply to many contexts, this project was designed for an intermediate level EFL class in a Chinese university. The lesson plan you will see is based on the principles of task-based language teaching, or TBLT. So, why TBLT? TBLT has become quite popular in second language teaching. Brown and Lee, in an excellent book from 2015 on second language pedagogy called Teaching by Principles, describe the ways that task-based learning is so well suited for communicative language teaching. They quote Noonan from 2014, who says, "Communicative language teaching addresses the question why. TBLT answers the question how." As the name suggests, in a task-based lesson, students perform a task, usually something authentic, such as planning a vacation, describing a photo, or writing a letter. Tasks are often done in pairs or groups. There may be some input target language, but additional target language and target language forms will emerge naturally during the task and are therefore more authentic than in other types of language lessons. There are three phases to a task-based lesson: a pre-task phase, the main task itself, and a post-task phase. In the pre-task phase, students are given instructions on how to complete the task. They might also receive some pre-teaching of vocabulary, really anything that is needed to successfully complete the task. Phase 2 is the main task itself. The task should have some type of gap that the students fill. There may be an information gap, for example, where students must communicate with each other to find missing information to complete the task. During this phase, the teacher should be available if the students need any assistance, but it is generally considered a student-centered activity. Finally, in phase 3, the post-task, students review what they have produced during the task, often presenting their completed product to other students for feedback. In this phase, the teacher and students focus on form and accuracy of the target language that emerged during the task. Although task-based language teaching has been practiced in second language classrooms for many years, mobile-assisted TBLT is a more recent development. A growing body of research has begun to appear on this particular subset of mobile-assisted language learning, and some of these findings were also considered when designing this lesson plan. Briggs, in a study published in the journal Multimedia Assisted Language Learning in 2015, concluded that the authenticity of mobile-assisted tasks was an extremely important factor for their success in the classroom. He found that the opportunity to explore authentic forms of English, which are of personal interest, may provide learners with increased levels of interest and confidence in their English abilities. Fang et al., in an article published in the journal Recall in 2021 on the effects of mobile-assisted TBLT on language performance, found that a group of students taught through mobile-assisted TBLT outperformed a non-mobile-assisted TBLT group on vocabulary and conversation comprehension. They concluded that the scaffolding available to the mobile-assisted group during the tasks was a key to the students' increased language performance. Finally, several studies have found that in mobile-assisted language learning, close guidance by a teacher is crucial for student success. Ang et al., in a 2020 study on the effects of mobile learning on language performance, published in the journal Education and Information Technologies, found that without guidance from a teacher, even students who spent more time learning on a mobile device than other students performed no better than their peers. Guidance was the key. Students who received guided mobile-based teaching significantly outperformed their peers in language performance. Several other studies confirm this need for closely guided instruction. In multiple studies, even students have reported their desire for guidance when using mobile technology in the language classroom. In short, the importance of the teacher cannot be overstated. In fact, as the need for mobile learning and online learning continue to increase, some researchers suggest that schools will begin encouraging their faculty to learn the skills necessary to guide the use of mobile technology in their classrooms. So, for a mobile-assisted task-based lesson, 3 phases must be outlined. The task should be as authentic as possible. The task should be heavily scaffolded, and the entire lesson should be closely guided by a teacher. Now, let's take a look at the lesson plan that was developed for this project. The first question I need to address is, what is the task? In this lesson, the students will collaborate in small groups using the smartphone app Travelocity to find a hotel in a foreign city where they would like to travel. Travelocity is an English language online travel agency. It was chosen for this lesson because it is available in China and it does not need to be downloaded or installed. It is easily accessible through any web browser on a smartphone. During the pre-task phase, students are shown a PowerPoint presentation on an overhead screen that briefly describes how to use Travelocity. They are asked to find it on their phone and navigate through some of the basic features, step by step. The teacher can answer any questions they might have about its functionality. They are then introduced to the task. They are told to form groups of 3 or 4 people and told they will be given instructions for the task on a handout. Before the main task begins, the teacher displays a PowerPoint slide on the overhead screen with a list of travel terms and their definitions that the students may encounter during the main task. This is the scaffolding they may need to complete the task. The students now move on to the main task. To ensure that the task is closely guided, each group is given a handout with explicit instructions on how to carry out the task. After agreeing as a group on a foreign city they would like to visit, each student finds a hotel in that city on the Travelocity app. They are encouraged to consider features such as amenities, local attractions, and price. They then compare the hotels they have found based on these features. After comparing, they decide as a group on one hotel for their trip. In task-based language teaching terms, this is considered an opinion gap activity. The students need to present their opinions to each other in order to make a decision and complete the task. Finally, as a group, they fill out a worksheet with information about the hotel they have chosen. In the post-task phase, each group presents its hotel to the class using the worksheet they filled out. Students offer feedback while the teacher helps the class focus on target language, form, and accuracy. As we have seen, if the lesson is successful, students should experience a number of immediate benefits, including increased confidence and willingness to communicate, lower levels of anxiety, increased levels of engagement, and increased motivation. Over time, mobile-assisted learning should also lead to increased oral production and interaction in the classroom, which was the goal of this lesson plan. These in turn should lead to increased oral proficiency and fluency, some of the ultimate outcomes we're seeking for our students. Another long-term benefit is increased language autonomy. Students who regularly participate in mobile learning in the language classroom have been shown to spend more time outside of the language classroom using technology to improve their language skills. Again, the benefits are numerous. To sum up, the amount of research on this subject has exploded over the last 5 to 10 years, and the results are extremely promising for language teachers and students. Teachers have reported excellent results using available apps as well as apps they have developed themselves. Gameplay, as just one example, has been shown to provide a myriad of benefits for language learners, especially when it is closely guided by a teacher in a classroom. Other examples include online blogs to improve writing skills and news apps to improve reading and listening skills. I hope this has piqued your interest some on this topic. If you explore the research, you will find so many interesting ideas and possibly be inspired to try some of your own. Mobile technology is an ever-increasing part of modern life. Maybe language teachers should embrace it and leverage the power it provides to develop a whole host of language skills and positive outcomes for our students. Here is a list of references that informed this study. These are a good place to start if you are interested in researching this topic further. The lesson plan described in this presentation, along with all the necessary materials, can be downloaded at the following URL. Thanks for watching.